You can keep your head, but all about you losing theirs and blaming it on you. You can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for the doubting too. Or being lied about. Don't deal in lies. Or being hated. Don't give way to hating. And yet, don't look too good and talk too wise. If you can dream, but not make dreams your master. If you can think, but not make thoughts your aim. If you can meet with triumph and disaster, and you just treat these two imposters just the same, or bear to hear the truth that you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things that you've given your life to grow, and stoop, and build them up again with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings, and risk it in one turn of pitch and toss, and lose. Start again at your beginnings. Never breathe a word about your loss. You can force your heart and your nerve and your sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone. And so hold on when there's nothing in you, except the will, which says to them, hold on. You can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, and walk with kings, but never lose the common touch. If neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distant run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. Which is more? You're going to be a man, my son.
All right, so that was lovely, wasn't it? He said it very well. And with the music, it really adds to it. Okay, so I don't really want to go over the thing line by line, but I will if no one answers, right? So I need you to tell me what they felt about the poem, what they learned from the poem, what touched them, right? What you can use to apply to you, right? So, should I go around to every single person?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with the first person that said no. Sit down. So tell me one thing that you learned from the poem.
Don't judge people, I guess.
Don't judge people, okay?
I was gonna say what she says.
Okay, find something else to say then. I'll come back to you. Teresina, find one thing you liked about the poem, one thing you learned, one thing he said that you liked. Teresina, you know how to talk. So please open your mouth and speak. Just one thing you learned. Do I have to come back to you?
Basically from the poem that I just heard earlier, he just like trying to like say that there's like many things to look for in life.
Okay.
And just really need to be patient.
Patient.
Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself.
Confidence.
Self-confidence. Very good. Thank you, Josiah.
You have to speak up.
You have to keep what? Keep trying. Very good.
Be myself.
Be yourself. Cecilia?
Always be confident in yourself. Don't give up.
Don't give up, be confident. Okay, Kilani? Something you learned? Anything? Even if you lose, okay? What about it if you lose? Very good, Keilani. Keilani, I need to give you a high five for that one.
What did she say?
Even if you lose, try again. Keilani, how old are you? 6. Forgive me for saying so.
I'm
That was
6
one of
too.
the best answers so far. Okay? Very good, Keilani. All right.
Don't let go of your faith.
Don't let go of your faith, okay? You want to go faith? Johnny? Don't. Very good. Don't be cocky. Because the thing is, you guys, some of you are saying things that are general, but these two people said things that are specific to what he was saying. Don't be cocky was one of the things he said, and when you lose, try again was something else he said.
Love your enemies.
Love your enemies is something else he said. Very good. Josiah? Makai?
Even if you look at somebody teasing, don't tease them back. Just don't worry about it.
Right? If people tease you, don't tease them back. Don't worry about it, okay?
That's in them.
Say it again.
Don't let people blame you for things you didn't do.
He says, he didn't say don't let them blame you. He says even when they blame you, that you shouldn't worry about it too much. But that is very good. He did talk about the blame part.
Don't let people push you down.
Don't let people push you down. Okay? Isaiah?
Don't think what people think, but don't think too much about yourself.
Don't think too much about yourself. Okay? Denise?
Don't talk wisely.
He says don't talk too wisely. Right? So meaning like don't be too cocky. Right? Don't think you know it all. Right? Okay?
You said.
Just one thing. Come back to you? Come back to you? Or you can't remember something? Come back to you, okay? Anyone else who wants to say something else?
Don't say the same thing as the other people. When they're bullying you, believe that you're not one of them.
Okay. Not exactly. Go ahead.
Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself. Very good. Yes.
These principles will help you later on in life.
So in general, I like that very much. So all the things that he said will help you on later on in life. That is true. So let me just briefly, so we can conclude and go to lunch, right? So he says, to keep your head when people are blaming you. So don't be afraid and don't get angry when people are blaming you, right? He says to trust in yourself even when people do not trust in you, right? He says even though you trust in yourself, don't think too much of yourself that you don't believe you can make mistakes, right? He says try to be patient and wait for things that you will get in life, right? He says do not lie. Shh. See, these are the things you guys missed. Those of you who didn't have anything to say, and those of you who said something that was very general and broad, these are specifically what he was telling you, right? He says, do not lie, even though people lie on you. He says, do not hate, even though people hate you. He says, someone said it, don't look too good or talk too wise, right? Don't be cocky. He says, dream, but don't make dreams your master, right? Don't be a person who's always stuck in a dream and not doing anything with your life. He says, think, but don't make thoughts your aim. Don't be all about thinking, I should do this, I should do that, but you never actually do anything, right? The same way of dreaming. He says, when you fail and when you succeed, think about them just the same, right? Because they don't define you. Some people are like, they succeed and they're like, oh, it's all about me, and they're all puffed up and their head gets big, right? And some people, they when people lie about you, right, and they twist what you say, don't get overly upset about it, he said. He said, when the things you build, if I can speak and I can be listened to, I would appreciate it. Right? If you have a question, I would prefer that you ask me the question if it's in reference to what I'm saying. If it's not in reference to what I'm saying, I would appreciate if you hold your question until I am done. Okay? So let me finish because we need to go to lunch. Okay? So, and he says, watch the things you give your life to broken, right? So sometimes you create things and you make a wonderful whatever, right? A project, and then something bad happens and it's all ruined. But he says you should be able to start from the beginning and not moan and groan about it, right? He also said to take risks, but not be too risky, right? He says to force yourself to be the best that you want to be, that you can be. And he says to, even when you're at your very end and you're tired and you can't move on, or you feel like you can't go on, you should force yourself to, because you should never give up, right? He says, when you're in a crowd, like you're in a group of people, like maybe you have like 5 or 6 friends, it's okay to be in a crowd, but it's not okay to have that crowd mentality. You should still be your own person and have your own thoughts, right? And not make people take control over you. Very good, right? And he says, so it's one thing to be in a crowd, but it's another thing to be with kings. So even if you're in the best company, like you are with the President of the United States or, someone who's very important, that should not define what you are. You shouldn't be, full of yourself and be like, oh, I'm with the best kind of people. And then all of a sudden, you don't want to be with your regular friends anymore, right? So even if you make it a million, could you sit properly, please? Right? Even if you make it very far in life and you're really, really important, you should always try to, be kind to those who are below you or beneath you or who are less than you, right? And then he says to love your friends, do not hurt your enemies. He says to have people count on you, right? And to count on people, but not too much because you don't want people to fail you. And then he says to exercise. He says fill the unforgiving minutes with 60 seconds worth of distant run. So meaning like to not be still and doing nothing, but always be active. And then he says, if you do all of these things, this is, I believe, who said this? Like these are the principles, right? So in the very end, he said, if you do all of these, you will be, he says, the world is, he says, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, right? So the earth is yours for the taking, meaning you can do anything you want because you have followed all these principles. And he says, what is more, you'll be a man, my son. So, and we can take that for women too. So meaning you would have grown, you would be mature, everyone would look at you and think how wise you are, how mature you are, and that's an important thing for us as people, that people can realize, that others can realize that we have grown and that we are independent. So when you're a man or a woman, you're independent, you don't depend on other people. You have your own mind,